All right. All right. So hold on a second. All right. Well, welcome everybody to our latest session on how CEOs are using AI. For those who have been here before, we've been tracking the actual usage by CEOs, and over the last 5 months, CEOs that report using AI in to drive their businesses has increased from 70 to 79%. And those who are driving results and seeing meaningful results has increased from 50% to 59%. So things are continue to trend upwards as far as the use of AI and CEOs doing so. Today, we'll be discussing how CEOs are using AI to improve marketing spend. And our moderator, Matthew Swanson, managing partner of Silicon Valley Software Group, has invited Daniel Krabsoff, CEO of Improvato. Correct, Daniel?
Yep.
Okay. Who is welcome as a new American citizen after 10 years of leaving Russia. So welcome, Daniel. Welcome to the U.S. And you've been here for how many years? 5 years?
In the U.S., 10 years.
Well, you got your citizenship just last week, so welcome. So after Matthew and Daniel have their conversations and share some of their usage and tips for you, we're going to break into smaller groups where each of you will have the opportunity to discuss your own use cases and whatever successes and challenges you're experiencing in the process. At the end of the hour, we're going to do something a little bit different. Anybody who wants to stay at the end of the hour and have just hang around with Daniel and Matthew and I, we'll be staying around in the main lobby room, this room, and be able to answer some questions or just have an informal conversation on anybody who would like to stay afterwards for just a little more personal conversations. That being said, now that Chris Beal has joined us, it's all yours, Matthew.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul. Nice to see everyone again. And we're going to continue our series here. The past few months, we've been covering AI agents, one of the more exciting updates since ChatGPT released. And we're going to focus in on a topic around marketing, specifically around data governance and marketing spend. So we'll dive into that in just a second. But as per usual, we'll start off with a primer on AI. And in the past, we've covered some demos and some sort of dissections of agents. And today, we're actually going to go a little bit deeper into the stack. We're gonna cover a topic that is really kind of hidden from view, and that is the underlying components that make these new AI tools so powerful. So ChatGPT came out, and all of a sudden, these latent capabilities emerged, and we've been working in AI for 6 decades, and it took this kind of breakthrough to happen. So what was that breakthrough? Well, if you may have heard this word transformer being used, but basically what makes these large language models like ChatGPT so powerful is they have this concept of an attention mechanism. And the simple definition is it's a type of neural network, which is an AI algorithm. It connects inputs and outputs by finding relationships between the two. That's kind of a boring definition, not too provocative. If you try to go somewhat deeper to try to understand, well, what are these transformers really? You're going to uncover a lot of math, and this is where most people start checking out. So we're going to try to attempt to explain what transformers do without any math. That's what we're going to cover today. And the way we're going to do that is actually by leveraging the properties that make these tools so powerful. They really have some simple ideas that mimic how we as people process information. And so best illustrated through example. So if anyone here were to read this sentence, the customer visited the website and tried to purchase the green shirt. The payment processor succeeded. The customer was we would all have this kind of intuition that the customer was probably happy or satisfied. They probably weren't frustrated, and they definitely weren't Florida, right? So, this is pretty obvious to all of us. Well, this is actually a good example of to illustrate the power of these attention mechanisms. Back in 2017, Google came out with this paper, "Attention is all you need," and basically what it said was, through very simple math and a lot of computation, these AI tools can get really good at finding the words in a sentence that contribute to the outcome. So if we look at a simple heat map of what a transformer might do to the sentence after millions of cycles, it would find something like this. It would find these highlighted words have more importance to determining what that last word should be. And so it gives these weights that allow it to then say a word like happy or satisfied is more likely than rectangle, for example. All right, so applying this to our businesses, we have these powerful attention mechanisms. If we look at a business setting, we have all these words that these AI models haven't yet learned. So if we take that same sentence and translate it into your company's speak, it might say the customer visited some string, like a website, that the transformer has never seen before, and then did some computer code, JavaScript. Again, it wouldn't understand exactly what that means. Instead of the word shirt, now we have a number, right? Which again, the transformer has never seen on the internet before, associated here. The payment processor return code, we don't know if that was good or bad. And the customer was what? Well, if you were to read that sentence, you'd be confused. You'd probably say, well, it's probably more likely happy or satisfied than since customer was mentioned. But the opportunities to get it wrong are much greater. And the transformer is looking at the entire dictionary of words. And now some are becoming more likely that would definitely not have been the case if we had the more understandable sentence like the one above. So these transformers have this really powerful mechanism that replicates how we read text. The problem that companies are facing is they are taking all of their data that isn't English and trying to use them with these large language models. So that's almost akin. There's two scenarios that I'm seeing a lot of companies struggle with. They're either taking their structured data, like database tables, and then they're forming prompts. So the customer was table, and the customer was then blank. Well, the model gets confused. It's never seen tables like this before. Similarly, or on the other end of the spectrum, we see companies that are dumping entire PDFs or call transcripts into a prompt. So, the customer was call transcript. And again, if you want to ask something about that, you or I would get confused if we tried to read this entire chunk of text and then answer simple questions. And so that's kind of an intuition you can have when you think about using these models is if you would get confused, the AI probably is going to get confused too. So, that seminal paper was titled, "Attention is all you need." And that is true. To train ChatGPT, all you needed was these attention mechanisms and the internet. But to use an LLM, you also need context. And so this is where businesses are today, trying to figure out how to apply AI into their specific data. Our challenge in front of us as business leaders is to take all of that history, all of the database tables and programming languages that we've created and translate it back into English. And that is easier said than done, but it's a brave new world in front of us. For those who figure it out how to do this, we can start talking to our machines just like we talk to each other, which is a pretty exciting opportunity. So we're going to leave it at that today. Hopefully this gives some intuition on how to think about applying AI in your business. And we're going to now switch it over to our guest speaker. So we're joined by Daniel from Imprivado. Imprivado is a marketing automation platform providing tools to help companies orchestrate marketing campaigns, clean up their data, and then ultimately make sense of their marketing data, including what is being effective at leading to customer acquisition. It's a big problem that I'm sure most of us have. We spend a lot of dollars on marketing and aren't always clear, what's actually working. So Daniel, with that backdrop, we always like to kick things off with a bit of a origin story. If you could just share with us a quick version of how you got here to AI and marketing.
Yeah, I think even more specific, AI agents in marketing. But yeah, my original story. I was born in Soviet Union, country don't exist anymore, and I won national, international programming Olympiads. I started several companies. I sold to companies. My last company was in advertisement space. I sold it in Russia, and that's when I realized that marketing and specifically marketing attribution is a big problem. I moved here to Bay Area 10 years ago. We started Imprivado. We pivoted several times during our journey. And the last, I think, 6 years, we help enterprise companies extract their marketing data. The problem number one we are solving that average enterprise company have in marketing department have 90 vendors. So what we do, we extract all this data from 500 vendors, and then we have data models to help our customers understand their data. But what we realized that it's really hard for many of our customers make sense of data. Even if they have all data in one place, it was really hard to make sense of it because you need technical people who can build data models, but also who understand marketing. And that's rare people. So many of our customers struggle with it. And we found that AI agents can really help with it and solve a lot of technical problems and write code, write data models, but also understand the marketing. So that's how we found this problem. And year ago, we invest in AI agents, and now many enterprise companies like T-Mobile, Activision use our AI agents to write data model, understand their marketing spend, act on the marketing insights, and clean the data. Because I think the biggest problem in marketing is data governance. Data for majority of the companies we work is dirty and wrong, and it's really hard to attribute. So AI agents can really help with it.
Great. I think that's a helpful overview, and we'd certainly want to get into the AI agent bit. But before we go there, maybe just to kind of illustrate the problem, can you take us through, what's a typical sequence that a company goes through when marketing attribution becomes a big problem, right? When a company's young and they have a small amount of team members, they probably have a good feel if their marketing is leading to, their goals. But, what are some of those inflection points that happen along the way and signals to a company that, hey, we might need to address this problem?
Yeah, I think John Wanamaker said this famous phrase that half of the money spent on advertisement wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. And I think still most of the companies have the same problem. So and even today, it's even more complex than 10 years ago because people have multiple devices. People interact with your content on desktop, on mobile, on multiple sites. There is a multi-touch attribution. They may see your ads and then may search you, and then you maybe did a webinar or offline event or radio and then finally they bought your product. So it's really hard to understand which interaction with your customers affect and make and force customer or push customer to make a buying decision. So that's where is that's where is the core of the problem. And today marketers have so many tactics. There's dozens of advertisement platform, affiliates platform, SEO, search engines, and so that's where is the core of the problem is how to attribute to all your tactics revenue you got. And did I answer your question, Matthew?
Yeah, no, I think that's very relatable, right? We've got all these new digital channels to choose from, which is great because we can connect with our customers where they want to be. But it does introduce this challenge of, getting a bird's eye view of what's going on when there's so many moving parts. So that's probably a good segue into, we obviously there's been a lot of technology companies trying to solve this problem. What makes AI different? What does it bring to the table? What kind of paradigm shifts can we all here be thinking about when it comes to tracking our marketing spend?
Yeah, there are a lot of ways AI can change how you attribute, but I want to talk specifically about AI agents, how AI agents can help you with marketing attribution, and the way we treat AI agents and is, I think, we solve the problem of technical people who understand the marketing, and it's really hard to find somebody technical who understand marketing, can extract data, build a data model, interpret data, and you need to hire these rare, expensive people. So that's where AI agents can help, and you can ask in a similar way. You can ask ChatGPT, write email for me. You can ask AI agent, understand my ROI and give me recommendation, or find data anomalies in my data, or give me advice about my Google advertisement campaign. And that's where AI agent can make a big difference, because even if you don't know marketing, or if you're not technical and you don't know how to write SQL code and Python code to write all these different data models, and you don't have the team to help you with it, that's where AI agent can change the way you work with marketing, and I believe revolutionize how CEO understand marketing and how they can affect their marketing decisions.
Well, I mean, that sounds very appealing, to be able to, solve these problems without having an army of technologists. But maybe just kind of more practically, what does that look like? Is it that you really don't need to have any sort of tech team, or what are the kind of skills that a company would need to have on board in order to start using AI to address these questions?
I think it depends on a set of tool you choose, and you can go and choose like open source. There are a bunch of open source tools that you can stack up them together and have an army of DevOps and engineers and analysts, and they will build for you AI agents. Or you can go with a vendor like Impravada, where you don't need any technical team members. You just connect all your data to us, and our AI agents will index all your data, build data model, and then you can chat with these agents like you chat with your marketing ops or marketing analyst. It's just like, okay, can you show how much money I spent last quarter, or what's my best ROI channel? So it depends what type of solution you want to do, but yeah, there are already solutions on the market where you don't need any technical teams, and there are some AI agents that can replace you almost fully, your marketing analyst or marketing ops.
So, if I gather that right, as long as you have your data captured, there are tools that you can use to suck in that data and start asking questions with AI. maybe that's a good place to hone in. Like what kind of data do companies need to be collecting in order to start asking some of these questions?
It depends what type of marketing tactics they do. So, for example, if you do only advertisement, let's say Facebook and AdWords, then you need to extract data from Facebook and AdWords. And there is a levels of granularity how you can make your attribution. By default, Facebook and AdWords already have out of the box attribution models where they can tell you relatively accurate data about your ROI and purchase. So you can extract this data from Facebook and AdWords. But if your marketing tactics are complex and you have multi-touch attribution and you want to understand more customer journey with nuances and use multiple different attribution models like first touch attribution or U-shape attribution, then you need to extract your data from your CRM data or maybe your e-commerce data. It depends what type of business you have. So let's say you have two advertisement channels, Facebook and AdWords. You capture your sales in CRM, HubSpot or Salesforce or Shopify. And to match them together, you also need your information from your website. It may be your Google Analytics or Mixpanel or something that capture your visits. And so having this advertisement data, website data, and your sales data, then you can join them all together. And then after you have all data, you join them, then you can chat with your AI agents in order to understand your marketing effectiveness.
Yep, that makes sense. So to kind of bring this into a measurable outcome, what have you seen companies accomplish when they put their data together and start using AI in this way? Are they, reducing headcount, or are they, introducing new capabilities that they couldn't do before? What kind of KPIs are they able to improve?
I think it's combination of everything you just mentioned, but I think the biggest value of what we see amongst our customers that very often they just can't attribute their activities to the sales. And often, so the step number one, you get all your data. Step number two, you model it. Step number three, where is I think the biggest problem is clean your data. The data is always wrong, is always dirty, and after they make all these three steps, the biggest value they got, they understand which campaigns really work. And very often, what we notice that some campaigns perform actually much better than they originally thought because data was dirty. They can connect it. They don't see that campaigns bring them more sales than they actually originally thought. And then if you understand that this campaign give you more ROI, then you can invest more into it. So what we see amongst many of our customers that they can attribute the previously without Improvada, they usually can attribute around 30-40% of their budget. With Improvada, it's around 80-90% of their budget you can attribute, and it's usually lead to 30-40 increase in ROI because you can tie your numbers better and you understand the all steps in customer journey.
Okay. Is there any sort of concrete improvement? Are you using your tools internally? Can you share any sort of kind of firsthand anecdotes of what you've seen with AI?
Yeah, maybe I can even show some sort of demo how.
I don't know if we're going to have time for a demo, unfortunately. We only have a couple minutes here. But yeah, any quick anecdotes you mind sharing?
Yeah, so for example, for Improvada, after what we realized before we built full marketing journey, it was not clear for us that our outbound SDRs campaign works because we email customers, we send them emails, they open our messages, but they don't answer to us into email. They, in a week or two, and sometimes in a month, they see our ads, and then they click on ads, go on our website, and sign up. And we always, without multi-touch attribution, we always assume that this is advertisement, that what works, and specifically, even very often we notice that it's retargeting is like that's the best channel for us. But when you do multi touch attributions, then we realize that actually SDRs work. That just they don't work. Customers don't like to reply you in email, but then they remember you and they find you. And for us, we made a big change because our SDR was almost zero ROI. Like almost nobody replied to us, but we realized that it's actually work. Just customers have a different path, and it saved us. So we want to step campaigns, but it was almost 30% of our revenue that we can't recognize before we build this full step multi-touch attribution.
That makes perfect sense, right? Because in spreadsheets, it's easy to see that first order visibility. But even if you wanted to try to replicate that with pivot tables, that would be super challenging to find those second or third order connections that might have contributed to further down the touch point on what led to conversion. So I think that is something very relatable. In our last minute here, we always like to ask, it's 1 year from now, and what are we all going to be talking about for AI marketing?
I think next year will be AI agents year. And instead of hiring marketing analysts or marketing ops, or even maybe campaign managers, you will hire AI agents that will do this work for you. And I assume that some people will not, you even don't know, is it a real human or not? You will chat with this entity through Slack, you will have a Zoom call with this entity, you can send the email, so you have a full, if it's remote person and you work with remote person, you can distinguish between them. So I think AI agents, specifically for marketing analytics, marketing ops, that's what they already can do. They works really well, but that will scale, and it will be not just technical work, but also campaign management, SEO analytics, and other marketing jobs.
Well, will be exciting to see where we're at this time next year. Thank you for sharing your insights, Daniel. Paul, we're heading into the breakout rooms, right?
Yep. Thank you very much, Matthew and Daniel. We're going to open up the breakout rooms, and that's where, frankly, you should have a moderator in the room and just briefly introduce yourself so you know who you are. And if you are using AI in any meaningful way, what use case are you using, and that you'd be willing to share what's working and not working very briefly. And so we'll learn from each other. So with that, we'll open the rooms.